Hi, I'm Johnnie Lloyd with Johnnie Lloyd and Associates, and this is a special segment of Excuse Me, Mind Your Business as you mind the business of your life. We're going through a very interesting time right now, and this is directly related to the Payroll Protection Program, which is called the PPP. And the reason I said it's not the problem payment plan, because those are three P's too. So I want to give you five things to consider that I've heard from my clients that they're running into, and I thought I would share some of the information with you that we have looked at to ensure that you don't run into these issues, and if you are, that you get a chance to consider them. So I'm considering these things are the business beware. Businesses beware. Okay, beware of this. Okay, so there's going to be five things, and we're going to talk a little bit. I'm going to answer some questions regarding this. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to talk about is what happens if you receive more money than you actually were authorized from the calculation that was provided. Because I have two people that I became aware of that received more resources than the calculation um, told them they were going to get. So it's not a happy day in court. It's not a happy day like, woo, woo, free money. It's not that. It's not that for real. So there's a couple things that you should consider. One is um, take the portion that your calculation, above your calculation, and don't accept it. That's one option. Option two is to accept the total and then take the part that is above your, especially your payroll and the things that are authorized under the PPP. Take that money and leave it in your bank account. Do not use it, because if you do and it's not forgiven, you're gonna have to make a payment. It's going to turn into a payment. It's going to turn into a bill. And so you have to consider that. Then the next thing is one thing to consider is also to look at, like I said, don't accept it was option one. Option two was if you accept it or find out it's more than you need, then what you do is you leave it in the bank. The third option, of course, was if you already know it was more than your calculations authorized you, then leave it in the bank as well, or return it. Because remember, there's not a penalty for paying back the money early. So keep that in mind. So remember that. That's really important, because you don't want to end up with a payment. And just for information, the payment process or the payment amount has actually changed. And I'm going to talk about that on item 3. What if you open up? What if you open up? Because we're about to open up in Virginia, and I'm sure some other states have done the same things. And we're not 100% open, and Northern Virginia is not open right now at all. However, what happens if you open up and you start calling your employees back and they don't want to come back? And when I say want to, it may be that they don't feel safe. It may that they have a pre-existing condition and they know that this could trigger it. And if they get this virus, that it could take them out. So they have a concern. So you need to document. What I say, document, 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 document. It's not a joke, document. Because what happens is if you don't document it, then when they stay on unemployment, and unemployment asks you to verify that you offered them the position and they refused it, you won't have any documentation. When the PPP comes in and you start validating, you received this amount of money, it was more than you said your payroll was. Well, actually your payroll and what you requested was correct. It's just that the people did not come back. So that's going to help you explain the delta difference in what you asked for and what you actually utilized, okay? So it's very important that you document it. And you want that amount to be forgiven. And that's very important. So remember to document it. And remember to tell your employees, because you care about them. So remember to tell your employees that if they refuse to come back, when the unemployment office comes back at some point, because they're way behind right now, they're going to ask, when were you offered your job? And you're going to have to tell them when they were offered. So if they continue to receive that money, then they're going to have to pay that money back. Okay? And you don't want to set them up like that. Okay? So just consider that. Now, let's go to the next one. Taxable liability. You said, oh, no, she didn't. Yes, she did. Okay, taxable liability. Yeah. Okay. There is a requirement, just like the stimulus. I'm going to get personally taxed on that and my personal income. This other is going to come in, and the business is going to be taxed on any income. The forgiven part is going to be considered income. So the business is going to be taxed on it. Now, typically, it's like a debit and a credit. So you got $100,000 and you paid out $100,000, you may not have a bottom line issue with that. However, this is huge. The portion that is forgiven may cause some other things to happen. So make sure you reach out to the person or the people that are doing your taxes to say, what if then? You know, what if this happens? What is your responsibility going to be? Now, the other side of it is, what if you're a 501c3? So on 501c3s, whether you be a nonprofit recognized by the IRS or a or socially conscious 501c3, or you're a church, regardless of how you got your 501c3 designation, you need to remember that if it's not forgiven, remember the PPP is a loan that has a forgivable aspect to it based on you documenting and proving that you followed the guidance, okay? So if you don't follow the guidance, guess what? It's going to be a loan. So then your nonprofit, your church, your organization, your business is going to have to pay that money back. And it could be a large dollar amount. It could be a small dollar amount. It doesn't matter. While you're trying to build, once we all get back situated, you don't want another loan on the books that you're trying to pay. So make sure you document, okay? And make sure you follow the guidance. And again, I just want to step back for a minute. Remember that the the payment is actually, initially, the interest rate was going to be 0.5%. Now it's 1%. As of April, they changed the amount and they raised it to that it's going to be a 1% interest rate on any amount that's considered a loan. Okay, and you have 24 months to pay it back. So let's say you had $40,000 that you don't get forgiven. That could be a large dollar amount. Let's say if it's $1,200, and that's a nice size payment that you may not be able to afford to do. So make sure you document and make sure you have all your books in order, and make sure that you document to the point that you say, this is payroll, this goes into this account, and do your tracking. And don't be giving people cash. This is not an opportunity for cash. This is the account. This is the opportunity to have tracking set up so that you will follow the generally accepted accounting principles that have already been established. And if you're an organization and you're not sure what that means, call an accountant or call someone who has an accounting background or someone who understands the magnitude of that, so that they can help you on this side so you won't have an ugly problem on the other side, okay? And then finally, again, I want to go back to documentation and communication. The documentation is one of the most critical things you can do, because anytime when all of the dust settles, whenever that is, you could be one of the ones that are audited. So your books need to be in order, and that's very important. So make sure you consider that as you go through this time to track it. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up, because I work with people profitability and productivity, and I have over 47 years of accounting background, I get it. However, this is what I want you to be aware of. Have a plan for your people to come back. Make sure that if the guidelines for opening are everybody needs to wear a mask, or there's cleaning stations or sanitation stations, that you do all of those things. Make sure you do that. And then the other thing is that notify your clients. Put it on social media, send them letters. Stay connected to your clients, because you don't want them thinking you're closed and you're open, or you're open and you're closed, whichever, because you don't want them to come and be frustrated and not sure and go somewhere else. And you want to stay connected to them, because people do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. And that's very important. Now, finally, as we walk this out, you said, well, stay connected to the SBA.gov website. Make sure that you stay on top of that. Remember that the PPP was established to help you through this time, through this season. And part of it, a large portion of it, was to ensure that you could cover your payroll. So 75% of it was established to do that. So make sure that you stay within the guidelines so you can get the greatest benefit from this injection that the government has provided to you, a business owner, so that the next steps ahead will be as painless as possible, and you're not picking up extra problems and additional payments. Okay? So it is always a pleasure to serve you. Make sure that if you have questions that you put them below. By no means am I a tax accountant. I do taxes, but not at the level, and I am not an expert on PPP by no means. However, because it's forever shifting, but I have read the documents. I am staying on top of it, and I value you. I value you, your next steps, and your business. Okay? So subscribe below so you can stay connected to other innovative and creative ideas. And remember that to have a plan when your people come back. Because if you don't end up with customers coming in the front door, then have a plan for the people that you bring back in, so they'll know what to do, and you'll have them actively employed instead of sitting around watching each other. Okay? Okay. So this is Johnnie with a segment of Excuse Me, Mind Your Business, as you mind the business of your life. Be safe, follow the CDC guidelines, and make sure you always take care of your customer. And the greatest customer you have ever, our greatest customer, is people. Thank you.